Okay, what is up, guys? So in this video, we are going to explore the breakup email. First of all, what is the breakup email? Well, it is the final email in your sequence, and most of them suck. And the reason they suck is twofold. Either because they just try and redirect us to the previous email. So it's like, hi, Pen, just bumping this to the top of your inbox. I'm wondering if you had a chance to see my previous email, which of course is totally ineffective. The likelihood is I didn't reply to those initial emails because they didn't resonate with me. So trying to redirect me back to those emails is a lost cause. Or they are just generic and they don't provide any additional insight, and they read something like the example on the slide. Hi, Pen, following my previous email, I'd love the chance to explore how we can help StackOptimise. It's generic. I have no idea what you do. To understand what you do, I need to trawl through the email thread, which requires, which is a pain. It's friction, and it's not compelling, right? Again, high friction with the CTA going straight in for the call. So what you need to do to make a really good breakup email is 5 things. Firstly, you need to signal that this is the last message, right? The more cold messages that you send to someone, the greater the risk that they're going to push you to spam and you're going to burn accounts. And so we need to hedge against that preemptively by adopting a very disarming tone, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. Number 2 is we need to introduce new insight, right? When you add new personalizations, new data points regarding your recipient, their profile, their company, then you create a compounding effect, right? If someone sends me an email and they reference my previous employer, and then they follow up with another email and reference the fact that I run a business with my brother, those 2 data points together have a compounding effect, and they're going to make me lean in because it conveys genuine research in me. 3, introduce new social proof. Again, similar principle to number 2. It compounds credibility and builds trust. Number 4, and this is a really important one, is to reiterate your value proposition, right? Reiterate what you do as a business. I see so many follow-ups, and particularly on the breakup email, where it doesn't communicate what the value proposition is, what the product does. Salespeople just assume that the recipient has thoroughly read the previous messages and has a solid grasp of what you do. That won't be the case. You have to assume they've missed or forgotten the previous messages. And that way you mitigate the risk of people jumping, because to understand what you do, they have to read the previous email. So always on that final email, make it super simple and very visible and clear as to what you do as a business. And then finally, a no pressure close. This is the very final component of our sequence. The likelihood is the buyer is in a state of frustration, and so the last thing we want to do is ask for a call. This is essentially our last ditch attempt to get them on a hook. So we want to make the action that they have to take to engage with us as frictionless, seamless as possible, and try and incorporate some positive sentiment into that final line, which I'll demonstrate in just a moment. So those are the 5 principles that you need to incorporate into your breakup email. And when you do, you will notice your results, your conversion from your campaigns skyrocket. We have we consistently run campaigns where our breakup email generates a meaningful number of positive replies relative to the previous steps in the sequence. So let's have a look at an example now. And this example is for a company that provides a SaaS to quick service restaurant chains. So cafes, delis, restaurants, and so that's the context. So here's the example. Michael, seems like you've got everything under control. No wonder, having been director for almost a decade now. If you're ever curious in how we help ops leaders manage inventory across multiple sites, just like we do for Pret a Manger, I'll be happy to share more. Either way, thanks for the consideration. Having ran a 10-store coffee chain, I know firsthand the challenges of maintaining consistency while scaling operations. Keep up the legendary style barbecue. So as you can see, this example incorporates those 5 principles that we just outlined. First of all, in that opening message, we are acknowledging that this is the final step. Yes, we're acknowledging it implicitly, but the tone is very, very soft and disarming. Seems like you got everything under control. No wonder, and then we're adding a new line of research that we've done on the prospect. We're acknowledging the longevity in their current role. We're articulating it in a very natural way. We're not saying like, I've noticed you've been in this role for 2 years and 7 months, which is often how personalization points are articulated, because as salespeople, we incorporate these personalization points very, very rigidly. The beauty of using tools like Clay is you can prompt the AI to make it sound natural. It's a really, really important principle generally in cold outreach. If you're ever curious on how we help ops leaders, so again, personalization on the job roles, and reiterating what we do as a business, incorporating more social proof with Pret a Manger, more social proof by saying that we've ran a 10-store coffee chain. So social proof in both the case study and social proof in terms of the personal experience and the personal journey of running a business similar to theirs. It's a low friction CTA, just offering to share more information on how we've helped businesses like theirs. And then finally, we're ending with one short, concise line that is designed to drive that positive sentiment, right? To help mitigate against the frustration that the prospect likely feels, right? So keeping the tone light and casual and warm, and of course that is another personalization as well. We're using Clayagent in Clay to visit the company's website, do some research on the company, and identify a distinctive aspect of their brand or of their product that we can acknowledge in that final line. It's neatly formatted, 2-line paragraphs max. Okay, just tips over 2, but it's short, it's concise, and like I said, it embodies all those key principles to building a really, really effective breakup email.